First Tuesday of the month, of course, it's time for ASEAN Roundup, and I'm really pleased to have back on the program our associate, Roy, Mr. Roy, who's the founder and CEO of AseanAffairs publication, and of course brings us all the updates without all the jargon of AseanAffairs. You know, it's so complicated, I think, when you read about ASEAN. It's just all mumbo-jumbo. There's lots of words, and there's ministers meeting, and there's ARF forums, and there's all this terminology. We've got to make it simpler, I think, because I think that ASEAN certainly has every opportunity to become the next EU, and we could be better at it. We've certainly got larger populations, we've certainly got products, and we've certainly got the right pricing. Labour, of course, we have too. So, without further ado, to take all that jargon out of all the words we hear with ASEAN, I'm very pleased to welcome Roy back to the program. Hi there.
Thank you. It's the time of the month when we speak about ASEAN Roundup for viewers.
And did you go down to Singapore for the Prime Minister's regional meet, or were you able to get that covered?
Yes, we got that covered. The ASEAN ministerial meeting is an annual affair, which happens once every 1 year annually, where all the ministers, especially the foreign ministers of ASEAN, they are called the ASEAN ministers, get together in an annual meeting. So that was the meeting in Singapore from July 21st. We have today a roundup of this annual meeting and what took place during that week in Singapore.
Right. So, first of all, what actually came out of the meeting itself?
Okay. There are, ASEAN will turn 41 on August the 8th.
Again, the 8th of the 8th. Huh?
8th of the 8th. That was exactly 41 years ago when the ASEAN was formed right here in Bangkok. So it's a milestone. We will consider August 2008 as a milestone year for ASEAN.
And Thailand's in the chair.
And Thailand in the chair, one of the founding members. For ASEAN, it's a turning point because they have grown from an initial member of 6 to 10. They have now a charter, the ASEAN Charter, on the table, which has been now ratified by 7 countries and 3 more to go. Actually, those 3 countries who have yet to ratify are the founding members, who are taking the longest.
Is that
namely
one is
Thailand, one is Indonesia, one is Philippines.
Why Thailand is taking so long?
Thailand, I spoke to one of the ministers earlier this year, and I asked, you are going to be the chairman, you are the founding member, you should have quickly ratified it. They said, okay, Thailand has gone through its own, democratization process in the whole beginning of the year, so that is one reason they're giving. But they're supposed to submit it to Parliament this year and supposed to ratify it in time for the ASEAN summit, which will take place in Bangkok this year. The Philippines Parliament has an issue regarding Myanmar. They say the rights there, human rights issue, if it is not addressed by the member country Myanmar, they have an issue with the charter. Indonesia Parliament is going to take its own time to do it. So this is the reasons for the 3 countries. However, the most important point to be noted during the ASEAN ministerial meeting in Singapore was by the Prime Minister of Singapore, Lee Hsien Loong, who said ASEAN may be in danger of becoming irrelevant in the face of a trilateral meeting that is being called by Japan with China and Korea, South Korea.
And actually Japan is the initiator of that, aren't they?
They are the initiator of the trilateral meeting, and this would be the first time these 3 countries would be meeting outside the ASEAN setting on their own, which will happen in September in Japan.
What is the objective of that meeting in Japan?
Okay. As you know, traditionally Japan, China and South Korea have been rivals in many, historically, politically and economically. So they have always met through ASEAN. ASEAN was the place where all these countries came to meet together. For the first time, they feel they can forge closer ties without ASEAN being in the center of it. ASEAN has always insisted they should be at the center of this meeting. So when in Japan this meeting takes place, it brings the 3 big boys in the region together, and ASEAN may be sidelined. If ASEAN, the way ASEAN came together was individually, these countries together as a bloc would have a say at the table of the big boys. Without that, they would be very small players.
Yes, indeed.
So that's the whole point of ASEAN, mind you. So ASEAN Charter, if it is not ratified quickly, if the faster and deeper integration they want to seek, it doesn't happen quickly, ASEAN has a lot of other competition coming as well.
So, of course, we have Dr. Surin Pitsuwan, who's got a lot on the agenda to get things moving very quickly.
Sure. Dr. Surin's job, I hope nobody envies the job he has, because he has to take 10 countries with totally diverse politically and economically on the same road towards a common goal is a daunting and challenging task. And there's a lot of expectations from Dr. Surin. And as Thailand actually took over also in this ASEAN ministerial meeting in Singapore and the rotating chairmanship of ASEAN. So Thailand is currently the chairman of ASEAN till the end of next year, December 2009, for the next 18 months.
So it sounds like it's a long period of time, but it's going to go awfully quickly.
That's right.
Now, is one of the problems, I mean, obviously that each country with its own government has to look after its own political issues, but there are so many individual focuses at the moment and so many individual problems. Is really the problem is that they're not paying attention, the various countries, to the real role of ASEAN? Is that why Japan, Korea, China, South Korea are able to get themselves together?
Okay, you're right. To add to that, for example, of course, when you are talking of ASEAN and the member countries need to focus on the common goals that ASEAN has set, charter ratification, and after a long time clamoring by Western governments to set up a human rights or rights body within ASEAN, they have finally done that, but of course it is going to take a long time because nobody can agree on its terms. So to focus on all this deeper integration, economic integration, the member countries need to focus on it. However, at the moment Thailand is embroiled in its own political
with Cambodia too.
With Malaysia,
yes,
with Myanmar having gone through the disaster of Nargis. So these all definitely pulled them away from focusing on ASEAN. However, ASEAN was set up as a 10-member body, and ASEAN also has what is known as ASEAN Plus 3, which I are showing you in the slides. ASEAN Plus 3 is China, Korea, Japan. Then you have the ARF, which is a 27-member regional security forum, which includes the United States, to Russia, to India. So ASEAN has several layers or several levels of engagement with different parts of the world.
I think what we've got to do though is there seems to be a mould and we can't get out of that mould. I think that we need to break that and move forward at least in some way. I mean, everybody says they have an intention to move ASEAN forward. And I know it's hard. I've seen, you know, promotional events just for promoting all the airlines in ASEAN or tourism events for Visit ASEAN and so on. But it's a huge task. I mean, surely each of our individual countries can actually see the benefits because we see the benefits of what the EU has been able to do.
Sure. I mean, as our AseanAffairs magazine quarterly, in our last issue, we spoke about looking for an ASEAN identity. In this issue, which if you may show, which is going to hit the newsstands within the next couple of weeks, this is our July to September issue. In this issue, we talk about like making the right move. We talk to two top logistic companies who find that ASEAN integration, the sooner it happens, the better for their business to grow. So there is a crying need from the business sector to telling ASEAN, look, get your act together. However, having all the challenges, it is true, ASEAN yet this year, for example, is a milestone year, as you said, because they have done things which they have not done for the last 40 years. An ASEAN Charter, getting the rights body. So they are moving.
But maybe not quick enough.
Not quick enough.
Well, that's a challenge, and I hope you'll continue. Maybe we're going to have to get back in a couple of weeks to give us an update on what's going on because things are moving so quickly.
That's right.
In some areas, even though they're not moving, if you follow what I mean. I mean, we've just got to keep the pressure on, I suppose. Roy, I hope you'll come back and talk to us in a couple of weeks, and let's give a further update.
Sure, we'll do.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.